Howdy, homesteaders. Today I'm going to work on my weed trimmer. Apparently, when I look on YouTube, I can't really find a good video on teaching me on how to change this string in my wood trim, or my string trimmer. This is for a KOBALT 40 volt electric string trimmer. So I figured I was going to make my own video. Okay, step one, you want to remove the battery. Any kind of an electric device, remove the power source. With gas operated devices, you don't have to worry about that so much because you have to pull a string in order to start it. So the chances of a gas engine starting itself are pretty much impossible. But with an electric device, if this was plugged in, all that has to happen is for the buttons to get pushed, and this thing is in business. And you don't want this thing to be spinning when it's in your hands. So take the battery out. I'm not sure if this is how all of them are, but mine was really hard to get off. These little side tabs, right, one on this side and one on this side, you have to push them in order to get this off. And I could figure that out on my own, but for whatever reason, I pushed them in, and my fingers are just not strong enough to push them in to where this thing will come off. So what I had to do was I used some channel locks. It's the only ones that I had, and they just barely make it to where I could just sit there and put this in the hole and put this like on the back corner, just barely on the back corner. I was able to press that button. And at the same time I was doing that, I had to take my screwdriver right here and pry at the bottom to get it up. And once I got this one up past that little notch thing, then I'd spun it around and I did the exact same thing with this side, using the channel locks to get that pushed in, and then getting this underneath and prying it up. And then I was finally able to get this thing off. That's why I'm not pushing it back on there, just so I can show you how to take it off, because it takes both my hands, and it wasn't easy. So I'm not going to go through that again. So I pulled this off, and that part comes off. Now that's the part that I haven't seen any videos on whatsoever. Someone's showing you how to do that. So now this part comes off, and now you see you have this spool, okay? Now, there are videos that show people how to restring this, although the way they do it is not exactly the way I think you're supposed to do it. If you look really close right here, you can see those arrows. Now, those arrows, that represents the string, okay? Now, the reason why the arrows are looped together, right, is because your string, you don't want to cut it. You take a big, long piece of string, and you pull it out straight and make sure it's equal on both sides, and grab the middle of the string. And when you grab the middle of the string, that's the part that you hook onto this spool. Now you see this right here is a little slit. And what you do is you take the middle of the string and you put it in that slit, and then you wind each side of the string around the spool. And then once you do that, you put it with the indicator side down. This is the side that goes up. And you put it down, back onto the button. And you just push it down into place. And of course, where each string comes out, you want them to line up with these little tabs, where they come out, where these little tabs are. So when you fit this over top, the strings have to come out through these notches. That's where the string comes out. All this stuff takes more than one hand, so I'm really not going to be able to videotape all of it. But that's basically how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and then we'll go to the next step. But first, I'm going to eat breakfast. That was delicious. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get back to work. Following the diagram, I put the little loop, the middle of the string, right there. All right, and then you just take it like this and run it that way. And you just keep running it this way with one string on the top, one string on the bottom. You know, one half of the string on the top, one half on the bottom. And you just keep going around in a circle. And you just keep doing this until it's fully wound. Now this is actually the string that came with the unit. The string, I guess, got caught up or something. I thought it was empty. So that's when I started doing this, and then whenever I opened it up, I realized, oh wow, it's got all the strings still in here. So somehow it came loose, or I don't know what happened, but you know, things went wrong, and now I'm trying to get things to go right. Okay, when you get close to the end, which I am, you're going to take one and loop it into one of these little notches for one side. And the other one is on the other side, right here. So now they're both clipped into these notches. And it doesn't matter how much is sticking out on here in the end, as long as it's sticking out. Once you get it in the unit and you get it started, you just mash down on that blue button that you see right here, and it auto feeds it right out. So, but that's basically it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the unit. Sorry I can't show you every single step of this, but yeah, when you clipped it on the bottom there, that's just to hold it in place when you put this cover back over it. Well, then it goes in this hole. It comes off that, you disconnect it from the bottom of that spool. That spool is just like to hold it in place while you're wrestling with this cover. Then once you get the cover on it, you can take it off that little notch and put it through the hole on both sides. And it requires both hands, because as soon as you let go of it, it's going to go right back up inside the spool and be completely frustrating. So those little tabs that you hook the strings onto is just to hold it in place until you can get this situated in place, and then you put it up through the hole right there. And then once you line these tabs back up where they go, then you just go ahead and push it down in place until it clicks on both sides. Okay, seems like that's in there. This is it here, good. Right here, good. Okay, so whenever this button gets pushed down, these ought to come out. And that's how you change the string.